Hello, dear students. Once again, welcome back to another YouTube English class. So, today we'll be starting a new chapter Techno Yogi Abdul Kalam. So, this man Abdul Kalam does not require any kind of introduction. You know what a big personality he was. I think most of you have seen him at some point of your life, be it in news or in any interviews. And you might be aware of him being the president of India. So this chapter has only 2 pages. There are only 2 pages that finishes the whole chapter, but the life story of Abdul Kalam is not limited to this chapter only. His uh, contribution towards the country is so vast that this 2 chapter is just a glimpse of his works. So, if you want to know more about Abdul Kalam, there are books written by him, his autobiography, Wings of Fire, and others. So, you can refer to this. So, today we'll take a look at the chapter Techno Yogi Abdul Kalam. On July 18, 1980, on an island teeming with magnificent migratory birds of the Andhra coast, a tiny pencil-shaped rocket lifted off and soared to the heavens. So, new word teeming, Teeming. Teeming. What does teeming means? Teeming means to have a lot of people or things about it. Moving about in it. Means what teeming generally means to have a lot of people or thing which are that are moving in a thing. So on July 18, 1980, on an island teeming with magnificent migratory bird on Andhra coast. So in the coast of Andhra Pradesh, where an island which is filled with or which is packed with migratory bird, a tiny pencil-shaped rocket lifts off and soared to the heavens. So on July 18, 1980, India witnessed a tiny pencil-shaped rocket, a rocket which lifted or which took off from the from the coast of Andhra Pradesh, and soared to the heaven and reached to the heaven and made its way to the heaven. So why it is shaped a tiny pencil shape? Because the people who are witnessing that particular moment, that particular historical moment, they were seeing the rocket being launched, and it is seen like a tiny pencil shaped. India becomes the sixth country in the world capable of launching satellite. So it was indeed a historical moment for India, and India became the sixth country which is capable of launching satellite. A hippie-haired scientist who headed the project team is felicitated. Hippie-haired. Now hippie-haired. So hippie-haired means what? Generally here hippie-haired is referred to as a person with long hair. So still we are not getting the name, we are just getting some of his physical appearances. So what Kalam we know had long hair, right? He was a very busy man. It was his trademark, a long hair. So on July 18, 1980, when India launched its first rocket, and India became the sixth country capable of launching satellite. Now who made it possible? It was that hippie haired scientist, and his team felicitated him. His team appreciated and glorified his work. On February 2, 1988, a phallus-shaped missile takes off from the coast of Odisha and blazes across the firmament. India joins the select club of nations capable of making ballistic missiles. Next achievement of India was on February 2nd, 1988. A phallus-shaped missile, a rocket-shaped missile, a pointy rocket-shaped missile has took off from the coast of Odisha. Now this time it took off from the coast of Odisha and blazes across the firmament. Now firmament, what does firmament means? A heavenly or the heaven or sky. Means what? On 2nd February 1988, against another missile launched from the coast of Odisha, and uh, it penetrated the earth, penetrated the sky, sorry, penetrated the sky, and now India joins the select club of nations capable of making ballistic missile. Now on February 2nd 1988, India was one of the few countries who are now capable of making ballistic missile. Now what is ballistic missile? A missile used to create an explosion. The scientist, the long hair, now a trademark, is triumphantly carried on the shoulder by his colleague. New word, triumphantly. 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 So, triumphantly means what? In a way of great happiness. So on February 2nd, when India became one of the few countries who became successful in testing ballistic missile, so they again celebrated that long-haired scientist for his outstanding work, for his outstanding leadership. So his colleague, they carried him to their shoulders and started to appreciate and applaud for him, started to celebrate his work. May 11, 1988, a Gorkha had hides his long hair in his disguise as an army officer in Rajasthan desert. Now this one, you are well aware. You recently a movie was launched based on the incident, Parmanu, the story of Pokhran. So here we know that while USA was vigilant towards other country whether they are making any kind of bombs or missiles, at that very time Abdul Kalam was working, that scientist was working in the desert of Rajasthan, who was disguised in Gorkha hat. He was wearing a hat, and they were doing, if you watch the movie you will see that they were doing all those work, in under a lot of pressure, because the foreigners, the Americans, they were keeping an eye over the Indian activities, especially this kind of activities. The art shakes with the world. India conducts a series of underground tests. The scientist is loaded with guided force behind the nuclear weapon program. So in Pokhran, in Rajasthan, in 1988, May 11th, India has now successfully tested its nuclear weapon, and now India became a country with nuclear power. So during that test in Rajasthan, so as I have mentioned earlier, that they were under surveillance. So in order to save themselves from the surveillance, they were in disguise. The scientist was wearing a Gorkha hat. Dream are important for the scientist whose name is as long as his achievement, Abul Fakir Jainuddin Abdul Kalam. So dream are important for those scientists whose name is as long as his achievement. So we see these scientists have a very long name. His name as such, named as such, Abul Fakir Jainuddin Abdul Kalam. So not only his name was long, his list of achievements was a very long one as well. He says simply, dream dreams because dream lead to thought and thought leads to action. In this case, it has always led an extraordinary action. So this very renowned and very prominent scientist, Indian scientist, he says that dream dreams because dreams lead to thought and thought lead to action. He advised the people of the country to dream big, because big dreams lead to thought. Dream lead us to thought. Dream compel us to think about our dream. And when we think about something, we tend to convert into action. In this case, it always led to an extraordinary action. So Abdul Kalam, he dreamed big, and his dream led him to some extraordinary action. Many of his peers tweet him for bombastic statement and for shifting target in whatever he achieved. Now two new words, peers. Peer means what? A person of the same age group or same position. A person who is of your same age or of same position, he is your peer. And tweet means a silly, foolish person. Yeah, a silly, foolish person is tweet. Many of his peers tweet him for bombastic statement of shifting target whenever whatever he achieved. They question both his scientific and intellectual acumen. Now, in a new word, acumen. Acumen means what? Acumen means the ability to make good judgments. So many of his scientists, many of his co-workers and his peers, they question his. Sometimes they question his intellectual acumen, he question his judgment, or sometimes they used to scoff. New word, scoff, scoff. Scoff means what? To speak ill of other. So many of his colleagues, many of his peers, they want scoff or question his the honorary degrees, and they also question his intellect, his judgment making, his decision making capabilities. But science is not all about formulas and test tube, because Abdul Kalam used to think out of the box. He used to think differently. Now, what he used to think? He used to think that science is not about just what you do in labs and with test tubes, with fancy equipments in the lab. Science is not all about that. According to him, science is something else. Now, what is science according to him? It's also about converting ideas into concrete reality that revolutionize the way you live or to think about ourselves. To him, science is a way of thinking. Science is a way of thinking which help us to convert our ideas into concrete realities. Means what is the way of executing our ideas into something reality, something useful. Means it is the way, it is a thought process which allow your scientific ideas to execute and make it reality, and which will in turn do what? Revolutionize the way we live or think about ourselves, which will do what? Which will change people perspectives towards life, towards themselves as well. However illogical this may seem, it is also instinct, innovation, and sheer perspiration. To him, science is not just which we learn in the four walls of the school. It is about instinct, innovation, and sheer perspiration. Means what? It is about your decision making. It is about your innovation, what you want to give new, what new you want to give to the world, and how much sheer perspiration means what? How much effort or hard work you put in it. So this whole thing, if you input, if you give an input of whole this thing, your output is the science. Means what? Good instinct, innovation, and sheer perspiration. Means what? Good instincts means what? Good thought processes. Good innovation means what? Innovation means what? To think for something new. And sheer perspiration means what? To give, to do a lot of hard work. Kalam is an inspirational figure not just because he demonstrated that merit can succeed and thrive amidst so much cynicism and nepotism. Now, Kalam is an example. He is an example of what a person can be, what an extraordinary person can be despite of his ordinary lives, ordinary background. So he was an example of that. Now, recently, after the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, I think you are well aware of the word, and you heard the word a lot, heard that word a lot, nepotism. Now, what is nepotism? Means what? Family member are supporting, or favor a family member does for its member, or the favor one does for his family member, right? Despite in without taking into consideration the talent and merits of other, right? If someone else might be capable of doing a particular job, but that person is not giving that person a job, instead he does what? He favors his family member to take up that job, whether or not him or she might not have a talent. So that's nepotism. And cynicism is what? A selfish person. So Kalam, he broke the stereotype that not it's not about reaching your at high level doesn't mean that you have to have connections, you have to be selfish. You can do it all by hard work and keeping a broad heart. Or that among a people riven with religious strife, a Muslim could head India's most sensitive to projects. It's not that in this country, a person with a definite religion or a specific religion, people of specific religion, they can only reach to the top position. No, he have proven this theory wrong. if you have are dedicated enough, and if you're willing to chase your dream and do what it takes to achieve that dream, then you can also reach to that level, no matter where, from where you belong. So Kalam is a proven factor of that statement. And being a Muslim, he was uh, the leader of India's most sensitive defense project. See, a country's any country's defense project is always sensitive, because they want to do it very discreetly. They don't want any other countries to know about their defense projects, because this will do what, this will alert other countries. So Kalam, he was trusted by India so much that he was given the responsibility to lead India's sensitive defense projects. More important, Kalam's achievement is an integrator of science who form out apparently mediocre team chant out some awesome excellent. New word, chant means what, to extract something, right? So here chant means what, to extract something. So while Kalam was given the responsibility to lead a team, to lead the defense project, so he was provided with a very mediocre team. But Kalam, you know uh, due to his excellent leadership quality and his excellent mentoring, due to his excellent mentoring skill, he did what, he turned out that he shaped that mediocre team into a very excellent and awesome team. His life and mission is vindication of what determines can achieve person can achieve against extraordinary odds. So Kalam's life is an example that what a person can achieve despite of having all the odds, right? All the odds means what, all the difficulties and differences in the previous stage of their life. So Kalam was an example what a person can achieve if his determination is strong and they are willing to do whatever it takes. So Kalam had a very humble and a very ordinary childhood and beginning, but this did not stop him from achieving the great goals. Born to a poor boat owner's family in Ramnathpuram, Kalam sold newspaper to pay his fees and pawned his sister's jewelry to complete diploma in engineering. So Kalam was born in a poor boat owner family. So yeah, he was born in a poor family. His father was a boatman, and in order to pursue his study, he sold newspaper. And in the later part, when he wanted to complete his diploma in engineering, he did what, he pawned his sister jewelry. Pawn means what, to keep something in mortgage in return of some money to complete his diploma in engineering. Early in life, he demonstrated a capacity for hard work and a will in success. From the very beginning of Kalam's life, we see he had the zeal to achieve something. He has the zeal to do something big, and he has also, for that he also is not for that he never hesitated to do all the hard work that it takes. So he had the zeal to achieve something big, and he also had the dedication to do all the hard work to achieve that big dream. It is exhausting to track Kalam's progress. In 1960s and 70s, he was a trailblazer. So in 1960s and 1970s, it is quite difficulty to track his progress, because at that period of time he was the pioneer. He was the pioneer. He was the leader of new innovation. Right? He was in his peak. He was in his peak, the cream time of his career. So he did a lot of things. So he did so many more things that it was quite difficult for them to track a lot of progress, right? He was a trailblazer, means what, he was a pioneer in lot of projects, in lot of innovations, and inventions, sorry, innovation and discoveries. He was a trailblazer. He was leading all those India's and you can say that in 60s and 70s, Kalam was he was leading India's science and technological field. In the 80s, he transformed the Moribund Defense Research and Development Laboratory in Hyderabad into a highly motivated team. In 80s, he did what? He transformed the Defense Research and Development Laboratory in Hyderabad into a highly motivated team. So he transformed a research institute into a very highly motivated team, a highly, you know, a team, a, yeah, Moribund Defense Research and Development Laboratory in Hyderabad into highly motivated team. Means what? He motivated the team of Moribund Defense Research and Development of Laboratory of Hyderabad. He motivated them to give their best to the science and technology, to give their best to their country, and he motivated them to be the top of the line. By the 90s, Kalam emerged as the Caesar of Indian science and technology. So by 90s. So I think you are well aware when I say 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 60s means what? 1960 to 1970. 90s means 90s, 80s, and 90s means the 1900s. So by 90s, he turned out to be the the veteran. The not veteran, like you can say, he turned out to be the Caesar. So Caesar, you see, Caesar generally means what? The title of emperor of Russia in the past. So in the past, the emperor of Russia were termed as Caesar. So he turned out to be the king of Indian science and technology by 90s. Following a 3 year term in principal of scientific advisor to the government of India. Then after 90s, for 3 years, he was the principal advisor of principal scientific advisor of the government of India. So after in 90s, so after this he served 3 years as a principal advisor, scientific advisor. So if the government require any kind of advice for the nation's science and technologies development for scientific field, so he was the government advisor back then for 3 years. Kalam moved to Chennai's Anna University as a professor of technology and societal transformation. So later part, he moved to Chennai's Anna University as a professor. He served as a professor of technology and societal transformation. Kalam's interests were not confined to defense and space research alone. In 1988, he put forward a major plan for the applications of science to problems of everyday life. Now, in 1984, okay, Kalam's interests were not confined to the defense and space research alone. So, Kalam was not interested, his interest was not only limited to country's defense and research, no, empowering the country in terms of arms and ammunition. His interest was not only confined to in empowering the countries in defense, right? In arms and ammunition. Rather, his interest was in using science and technology to for the welfare of people, to make the normal to target the commoners problem, to target the problem of common people, and to make their life even more convenient. So his idea of scientific usage was to make the life of common people and to, much more easier, and to target everyday problem. He called it Technology Vision 2020, and this idea of Kalam's, he named his Technology Vision 2020, where he dreamt to utilize science, to execute science in solving common everyday problem. The plan called for, among other measures, increasing agricultural productivity, emphasizing technology as vehicle for economic growth, and widening access to health care and education. So this Vision 2020, it was it gave more importance, or it emphasizes on agricultural development of the country, medical development of the country, which are the problems related to the common people, and he thought that this could boost Indian growth and economy. He has received the country's highest honors, including Padma Bhushan in 1981, Padma Vibhushan in 1990, and the highest civilian honor, Bharat Ratna, in 1997. So he was awarded with country's most prestigious honorary awards like Padma Bhushan in 1988, Padma Vibhushan in 1990, and the highest award a civilian can achieve in India, that is Bharat Ratna, in 1997. An avid reader and music enthusiast, Kalam had published a collection of poems and has written three books, including his autobiography Wings of Fire. So he was Kalam. Apart from science, he was also interested in poems and writings, and his interest is reflected in his interest is reflected in the three books which was written by him, including one of his autobiography, that is Wings of Fire. So it shows that Kalam was interested in poems and writing as well. On July 18, 2002, eminent scientist and father of Indian missile program, Kalam was elected as the 11th president of India. He was the first non-political person and scientist to be elected in the country's highest office. So on 18 July 2002, this scientist, this eminent, this famous scientist was elected as country's 11th president. So he was the first president of India who belonged from a non-political background. He was elected because of his you know uh, because of his contribution towards the country, because of his not immense contribution towards the country. So he was the first country to be elected as the country's president from the non-political background, and he was the 11th president of the country. His lifestyle remained frugal. He is indefatigable and dreams of making India a technological superpower in his pronouncement following his victory as president. So his lifestyle remained frugal, means his lifestyle remained very simple. He had very simple, he has very minimum requirements to carry on his life. His lifestyle yet remains simple, and he is indefatigable and dreams of making India a technological superpower. And he still remain, although he started to age, but yet he still remain energetic. He still remain energetic, and he never gave up on his dream to make India a technological superpower. Pronouns for the so he announced, after he became the president of the country, he announced that he will lead India to a new era where people of the world can see India as a super a country who is technologically superpower country. So after he became president, he announced that he will lead his country to be technologically superpower. He retired his resolve to work for the technology vision 2020. Moreover, more important, he is still capable of acting on it. So this chapter was written before his demise. So even though while he was alive and he was not the president of India, while he retired from the presidential post, but he still worked for the country. He still worked for his vision 2020. But unfortunately, Kalam died before he could still passed away before he could see his vision complete. So this is just a small tribute to this great personality, but you can if you are interested, and I think you should be, you please read his autobiography Wings of Fire, so that you can get inspired and motivated by his life. So with this, the chapter is concluded, the discussion is concluded. You do what? You read the chapter in your home, and if you face any problem, do not hesitate to call me on the given contact information, and do subscribe to Al Hira National School channel for more updates. Thank you. Have a good day.